Good afternoon, everyone. It is the 1st of February 2020 and we are about to build a winter hot tent. We're going camping a couple weeks on the family day long weekend, and we decided to retrofit an ice shelter, ice fishing hut, to become a hot tent. So I'm going to try and build that today. So the ice shelter that I purchased today, and we're going to try and retrofit into a hot tent, is the Eskimo Fatfish 949. You see a picture of it there. So it's quite a long box, probably 5 foot something. Should fit in our sled, and I'm just going to assemble it now and see if we can take one of the windows out and put in a stove jack. So inside the ice hut is comes with this bag with all the ice pegs. I don't know if we're gonna need them because we're gonna be using it as a hot tent on the ground. We're not gonna be on the ice itself, but it does come with these nice screw-in ice pegs. I haven't quite figured out what this bag is yet. It's sewn all the way around the edges, open on this side. It might just be a storage bag of some kind that is able to clip somewhere. Haven't quite figured that out yet. So here's the fully assembled Eskimo Fatfish 949. Why I went with this tent, there's going to be 3 of us going. This is one of the bigger, like 4-person ice shelters you can have, and because it's the Fatfish model, it's 99 inches by 99 inches, so it's one of the bigger footprints. But I really like the windows. So these Velcro out, and they're nice and big. So we're going to try and remove one of these. Every corner looks the exact same, except 2 sides have a door in one of the panels, but lots of windows, lots of fresh light, and we're going to put a stove jack through one of them by removing this window and inserting the homemade stove jack. So another nice part about these ice shelters is they typically have a door on each side. So right here is what a door looks like on this one. So it's right in the corner, and this side plus the side opposite has the exact same configuration, and it's just a nice quality zipper that goes all the way to the bottom. The materials on this thing appear to be quite robust, and as you can see, I got the door open on the other side there. And it's got a nice, like I said, 99 inches by 99 inch footprint. So it's going to be quite roomy. Okay, so we're inside now, and I've taken out the paper over the windows, but each window is Velcroed in, and it has a flap so you can shut them from the inside. These don't remove, I don't think, they just hang down like that, but these windows definitely remove. So that's how it looks when you have every window open. A lot of light in here, and I'm 6 foot, and there's still plenty of room above my head. My dad's going with me. He's like 6'3". He might have to duck down a little bit, but I think we should be just fine in a tent this size. So I just wanted to give a rough idea of a sleeping arrangement. So we're going to be somehow arranging 3 guys in like this side of the tent, and the stove is going to go in one of these windows right here on the ground. So it's not a very big stove. You'll see that probably later today, and we should have a couple feet of clearance. And for the most part, the stove is going to be running, and we're not going to have all the sleeping stuff laid out all the time. We'll probably stack it all and let the bags fluff in the corner, and then at night stow everything away, pull the sleeping bags out, and away we go. Okay, so I've come back inside and I'm about to make the homemade stove jack. So in order to do that, I took out one of the Velcro windows from the tent, and basically I'm going to make a replica of that with either 1 or 2 pieces of this welding blanket. So that should be able to dissipate enough of the heat from the stovepipe. I'll be using double-sided Velcro to be able to Velcro it back onto the ice shelter. And really I'm just going to need these tools here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a, so this is cement for the stove, but this silicone here, I'm just going to use that, put a big thick bead around the hole that's going to be cut for the stovepipe, and on both sides to basically make a silicone gasket that won't be directly on the pipe, but will help give rigidity to the stovepipe hole. So I'm basically putting tape on this, so when I cut through the welding blanket, I don't want the edges to fray. So I'll probably tape this side, cut it, and then put a nice piece of tape right on the edge, and then start applying my double-sided Velcro. Alright, the next part now is to try and safely cut a straight line through this welding blanket. And try and make the cut as clean as possible, as straight as possible. And the tape seemed to do a good job there. Okay, so there's basically the welding blanket template. So I've used duct tape on the edges here, just to clean it up, give it some structure on the side. So the next step, I'm gonna have to take the stove out, set it up, and see approximately, I'm gonna assume right in the center of this will be where the stove jack goes through. So we will mark our hole, cut our hole, and then silicone both sides of it, a nice like finger width gasket basically of silicone on each side. And then we will apply the double-sided Velcro, and we should be good to put this in the window and try out the stove. Okay, so I've set up the stove. This is a stove that my buddy Steve made a while ago for me. We've used it a couple times now. Handmade, homemade stove. Has a bit of a vent here at the bottom. I just need to put some more contact cement here so it doesn't leak. And then it has its own damper here. And then one elbow out the middle of the window. And on the outside, comes straight out the window to an elbow, and then another piece. So I need to get a spark arrestor or something for up here. But then the nice part is, when I'm out there, I can play around with the elbow, and if anything, I can get a stick with a crotch in it and angle the stick out and have it vent away from the tent. Okay, so I have my homemade stove jack. I have the Velcro now attached to it. I'm just going to trim that up a little bit. And then I have one of the pieces of pipe. Basically, this is the diameter of all the pipe that comes out of the stove. So I'm going to trace a little bit bigger than that stove pipe. So I'm gonna probably trace out that piece of tape and then start building the gasket using that. I think that might work out perfect. So as you can see, I have the inner ring represents the diameter of the pipe, and the outer ring was the tape, so it gives me enough of a gap here. I think if I cut just inside this outer one and then start building up the gasket, we should leave, you know, if I put enough silicone thickness on my finger, we should have a nice ring around what the pipe will represent in this inner ring. Okay, so there's the hole cut, and if I grab the pipe should fit with a little bit of a gap, and then I'll put a bead of silicone on this side and then on the other side, and then I'll put some right down the edge once both sides have hardened to tighten this up a tad. But for the most part, pretty happy with that hole. Alright, so there's the first coat of the gasket. I'm gonna have to let that dry and probably at least one more coat, and we'll make it a little thicker, clean it up a bit, but for now I think that's pretty good. Okay, so the homemade stove jack seems to be working. Pipe is pretty hot. I'm not going to touch it, but the gasket there doesn't seem to be melting quite yet, which is nice. And then we got the fire going pretty good in here. You can already feel I've even got the door open just to vent it while I was starting it. I got these two roof vents, and you can already feel the temperature in here rising. So we'll keep this going, test it out for a couple hours just to make sure I'm happy with it, and then next weekend we head into the bush. Hey, Penny! You playing in the snow?
No.
No, you're not? Wanna go for a ride in the sleigh? Are you done?